This is part 5 of our Let's Play Breath of the Wild, and this part will be cooking up some elixirs. We'll go to our first shrine actually in the game, and I'm not going to try pronouncing the name of the shrine because there's so many in this game I won't be able to pronounce, so it's pointless to even start out trying to do that. And then in this shrine, we'll be actually going through our first trial, the Magnesis Trial, which will give us our first rune in the game.
I'm pretty excited to get to this part. I feel like
Agreed.
The last couple we've just kind of been wandering around the Great Plateau. I mean, we've been doing stuff, don't get me wrong, but to talk about our very first shrine, and there are 120 of them throughout the game, but these first 4 or 5 that we explore will give us the runes that we will use throughout the entire game, and every shrine and puzzle in the game is built around these runes. So it's very important that we to collect these right here early on the Great Plateau.
Like you said, one thing with being an open world and be able to go anywhere you want to, they actually had to base a lot of these puzzles, like you said, around these rune abilities. And like you said, we continue. I feel like I've said that already 5 times in this little stretch, but you had to you learn those, and then you'll continue to use them throughout the game because they had to create something in an open world where you could basically get a couple small things and do anything else in the game world you wanted. And just the runes, I think some of the abilities are just very cool. I think they create very good puzzles, and just overall, we kind of talked a little bit about the shrines, but I love them. I love the new concept. I love the puzzles. And when we get to the first one, we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more.
And it reminds me a lot of Link Between Worlds, where they gave you the option to explore the dungeons in that game in any order you want. So to do that, they had to let you get every item right off the bat from Ravio, of course, renting them in that game. So I liked how they took that general concept of, hey, you can do things in the order you want to. We're going to give you the tools to do it right off the bat and go nuts, go to town. I like that they took that idea from Link Between Worlds and expanded it even further for Breath of the Wild.
Yep. I was sitting here waiting, I want to talk about the shrine and all that, and I kind of thought we were going to be there by now. But one thing I do like, I kind of talk about this, is the orange shine on it, love that color right there. And actually, when we activate them, the bottom will turn blue, and then the top will stay orange. And then when you actually defeat this shrine, the top part of it will turn blue. So it's kind of how you know which, and this is also indicated on your map. So it's kind of how you know which shrines you've done. But these right here, these shrines, some of them you'll just find throughout the game world just exploring. But then there'll also be quests for some where you'll actually have to do something for the shrine to erect itself.
Now, I'm just a big fan of, they have to have so many ideas for puzzles and things like that when they put a Zelda game together. And there's only so many you can cram into dungeons, especially when your dungeon has a theme or, that kind of thing. There's only so much you can do. These shrines give them the ability, like we said, there's 120 of them. And it gives them the ability to take a bunch of puzzles that they may otherwise not have had much of a use for, or they couldn't fit into the game otherwise.
Yeah, that's true.
And just... the creators had great ideas. These puzzles are very diverse. Some of them are very difficult.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I've only had to cheat on one so far. I'm proud of that fact. But it's just it gives them a chance, I think, the creators to be so creative on just coming up with this many different puzzles. And, you don't have to shoehorn them into a dungeon. You can just say, boom, here's your trial. Go do it.
Now, I want to know is, each one of these shrines has a different name. Like I said, I'm not going to try to pronounce them. But what I want to kind of see is, and I don't know if anybody actually ever analyzed this, but is each name somebody that actually developed this shrine? My thinking was, maybe these are game developers. And, okay, each of you get a shrine. Now, there had to be 120 people on Breath of the Wild, maybe not.
Oh, I would assume so.
My thinking was, is that each a person that's actually a developer for the game, and they got to create their own puzzle? I was like, that would be pretty cool right there. But kind of going back to what you said, some of the puzzles that these shrines offer, I think, are just really fun. Some, like you said, are difficult, but it just added a whole different element to the game. And just overall, I love the look, this it's kind of blue look, blue Sheikah look. I love the theme of the place. I think the theme is awesome. And you kind of can tell, well, maybe not right now, they also all take place underground, and just, it's a very cool looking area that's underground, and just once again shows off the technology that the Sheikah had.
And on top of that, I just really love that futuristic look. For me, it reminds me a little bit of, you think back to, was it Tower of the Gods? and the Godin fight from Wind Waker, just how it had like the neon lights and like the weird like techno-y music a little bit, and just it seemed very futuristic. And these shrines, along with, let's be honest, along with the Sheikah Towers and the Sheikah Slate itself, really reminded me of that part of Wind Waker. And I'm like, that's really cool. They brought back that futuristic look. And Godin's room in particular, always, like, that's what these Sheikah shrines really reminded me of.
And then you see water right there. And if you ever, like, watch some of our videos, you know that Red and I are just randomly fans of just anywhere you put water. It's just kind of like one of those scenery effects that we just love, and we saw right there, and we'll actually get in a lot of shrines, but when these shrines have like a water element in them, they just look absolutely gorgeous.
Especially later on, once we get the power to freeze that water, you know?
Definitely. That is cool.
Now, speaking of that power, like the whole addition of runes into a Zelda game, I thought was such a great and innovative addition. It's like almost like having magic powers to an extent. Yeah. And just whether it's in this, the one we gained here was the magnetism or magnesis.
Magnesis.
Yeah, we get the ability to freeze time on machines later. We get the ability to freeze water. It's just there are some, and bombs, which is great.
Definitely.
But there are some really cool powers they give us, and I just thought it was a fun addition. And they're all mapped to your Sheikah Slate, which you can easily switch between them, just like holding up, I believe, on the directional arrows, and just having them all right there at your fingertips to quickly switch between. And we get all of them so early in the game, as we kind of mentioned. It's just, I love the concept of runes and what they allow us to do.
Now, the Magnesis one's actually probably my favorite one in the game, and I've gotten all of them. As you said, you get them all pretty like early on in the game, but just for some reason, I've always found the Magnesis ones, or the puzzles that use Magnesis, to be the most fun. And I don't know, it's just kind of cool. Like, you can use a magnet to sling stuff around. We've actually kind of seen that. I know in the Oracle games we had a magnet in well, Red, you not played it yet, Oracle of Seasons. It's kind of like a magnet like weapon that's kind of like Magnesis, so kind of a cool, like, you know, throwback to that. But you kind of talked about bombs being one of the runes that we get, and that actually is true. That's one thing that I've actually been disappointed in this game, is you'll see later on that these bombs, they're not like the bombs that we're used to in Zelda games. Like, okay, they still have a blast, but they're like a Sheikah technology blue blast. Like, when I see a bomb go off, like, I need an explosion. I need some fire, you know? Now, I want to see something cool in a video game.
Exactly. And but these shrines also serve another purpose. Like we mentioned, at the end of every one, we get a, and you'll see it here in a second. What's it called?
Spirit Orb.
Thank you, a Spirit Orb. I totally brain farted there for a minute. And when you get a certain number of those, you can trade them in.
It's four.
It's 4. You can trade them in for a heart piece or a boost to your stamina. But also, every single shrine, at least every one that I've played, has a treasure chest or two in it that lets you get either a weapon or an item, or like the gemstones or things like that. So there is some value to be had beyond just getting the Spirit Orb.
Now, we do some quests later on to get to shrines, and Red, I don't know if you actually came across this or not yet, but there's some shrines that are called a blessing, where you actually just get dropped down into them, and you basically just walk up and get the Spirit Orb. And as you get like farther in the game, there's kind of more and more of those. Basically, the harder it is to get to a shrine, like the more like chances it's just a blessing. And I kind of do like those, where I can just walk up and get my Spirit Orbs. Now, Red's kind of talking about the whole, when you get 4, you can either get you go back to the god statues, which we've seen one in the Temple of Time. We won't say where other ones are in case you're not that far in the game yet, but you just walk up to those and you pray, and you'll have your choice between a stamina upgrade. I don't know what it's called. I was going to say vessel, but I don't think it is.
It's just an upgrade.
Or a heart container. My recommendation early on is to actually do the stamina upgrade, because you're going to need it to like climb things. But then you'll kind of get to a point where you get enough of that to where you can kind of go to heart pieces nonstop, or at least that's the way that I did it.
I actually kind of went the exact opposite. I loaded up on heart pieces because I was tired of one hit taking me to where I was already beeping hearts. I
don't have that problem, so
you never get hit by the enemies, right? Now, another fun question though is like these Sheikah just look. I assume that's what these people are anyway. Just look so ancient and withered. It's like it's such a weird look for them. They almost look alien, which goes along with the crazy technology and almost looks like constellations on the wall. It makes them look very alien.
But anyways, this will go ahead. Well, Reggie left me a little bit too much time. It's fine. But anyways, this will go ahead and wrap up part 5 of our Let's Play series for Breath of the Wild.